Hello, and welcome to another training video for Enlite POS powered by Dark. Today we're going to continue looking at the billing section, specifically how to apply payments. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Just a quick reminder, this is a series on the billing section. So we've already covered how most of these fields work, how to reach this section, what these filters do and all these columns mean. Please go back to previous videos and look at them from the beginning if you get lost here. Here we are in the billing section, and today what I want to do is apply payments. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to my zero filter and say that I don't want to see anyone that has a zero charge, because if I'm billing people and they don't have a charge, I don't need to bother with them. So we've got those filtered out, so now everybody owes us some money here. And I'm also going to change my billing dates through today. And if you don't remember what this field does, this field is enormously important because it decides not only what charges display in this section, but also what buckets they fall into as far as last balance or current balance. So if you don't remember how this field works, please go back to our billing fundamentals video. This is a very important field. You have to have this field mastered. So we're going to start with non-integrated payments. And what that means is a payment done via a method that is not tied to a payment processor integrated with Enlite. So an example would be cash, check, or even credit card manual if you don't integrate with your payment processor. I'm going to start down here with Harleen Quinzel, and she owes us, in her last balance, she owes us $3,182. Current balance is 1417, and then she owes us 45.99 with 82 cents. She owes us a lot of money. We're going to start paying this off. The way payments work in Enlite is that any payment that is received is automatically applied to the oldest invoices first. This is to tackle this last balance over here. So if I come here and I want to apply a cash payment from Harleen Quinzel, let's say I just received cash from her, I'm going to come over here to our little blue dollar sign, and I'm going to get a little modal. The modal is going to let me select the payment date. I'm going to leave it with today, December 26th, but you can change this to whatever date you record. If you record the date that you received the checks or the date that the check was written, whatever date or the date that the check is applied in your system, however you record it, this will let you pick the payment date, and that'll be the payment date in the system. Then it shows the customer we're working with, Harleen Quinzel. This is the from November 1 all the way through today, December 26th. She has this much in store credit right now, but we're going to leave that alone for the moment. We'll come back to this section a little bit later. And I'm going to say that we're going to receive a cash payment. You won't have as many payment methods in this drop down as I do. This is our test store, so a lot of activity happens here. But you'll have the payment methods that you use in your store. So for now, I'm just going to pick cash, and then it's going to let me set the payment amount. It pre-populates with the amount that she owes me. So this is the 45.99.82 that we can see down here. This is her total that she owes me. And then over here we have 3,182.78, which is her previous balance. So I want to show you how this number is affected by any payments that we make, because as I said, Enlite applies the payments to the oldest invoices first. So right now we have $3,182.78 as our previous balance. So I'm going to pay off $182.78 in cash. So as soon as I do this, this number will be affected and we should see 3,000. So I'm going to hit process payment. The payment is applied. The screen refreshes. Now you can see here that she only owes us 3,000. So Enlite took that payment of $182.78, I think it was, and applied it directly to the last balance. So now she only owes this much. Okay, we can repeat the same process for checks. The only thing that changes is that the fields that we have to put in are a little bit different. So I'm going to come back to my little dollar sign here, and I'm going to leave the payment date as is. We've already reviewed this information. I'm going to come down here and select check. And first, Enlite is going to ask me for the check number, and I can put any information I want there as my check number. It also supports letters. And then here we're going to pay off half of this previous balance. So we have 3,000. This time I'm going to say that the check received is for 1,500. So I'm going to come here. We're recording a check for today. This is check. This is the check number. And over here, we're going to hit process payment. And Light tells you that the payment batch was finished. and the numbers are recalculated. So now we went from 3,000 to 1,500 because I paid a check with 1,500. You can see this in numerous places in the system, but one place that your customers will see it is on their statement. So if I click here on Harleen and I come over here to her statement, assuming that I have this section for payments enabled, it's going to show me how the funds were applied that I received. So this one's older. Let's ignore these. These are the ones that we did for today. So for invoice 751-1 today, because this is the payment date that we used, we applied cash and we applied 182.78. And then on this same invoice, I guess it was a really big invoice, here's our check with the check number that we had entered. And then it's going to split the amounts, right? It's going to split the amounts by invoice that they were applied to. So here it applied 185 of the 1,500. And then on 752-1, it applied $1,314.21. So this is what it would look like on the statement when payments are applied inside the statement period. All right, let's go back. That's how you do non-integrated payments. As you can see, they happen one at a time. So I have to come in here and click the $ on any customer that I'm going to charge if I'm doing the non-integrated method. I come in, I select my payment method, whatever I'm using, could be bank transfer, whatever you have configured in your store. I enter the amount, I hit process payment, the system runs it, and you get a green little pop-up that says the batch is completed, and that's when you know that the payments have been applied. Let's quickly hop over to integrated payments. So these are payments done via credit card that is tied to a payment processor integrated with Enlite. So for this example, I'm going to select Diane Prince, and I can come up here because I know she has a credit card stored. This only works if you have a credit card stored in the system. If you select someone who does not have a credit card stored in the system and then try to process a payment, Enlite will check, we'll see that there's nothing there to apply, and we'll leave all the balances as is. The advantage of having a payment processor integrated with the system is that you can do these in bulk. So I know for a fact that Diane has a credit card tied to the system, and so does Bruce Wayne. So right now Bruce Wayne owes us 282.69. As we should look at it over here, 282.69, and then Diane owes us 279.04. So I can select both of these guys at the same time. And assuming you've already sent them their statements, right? You always want to send the statements before you pay, because once you pay, all the balances get recalculated, and then you'll have a statement where the customer owes you nothing. So we've sent our statements, as we discussed in the previous video, and now we're going to charge a credit card. So you just come up here, select the ones that you want to apply charges to, and press charge credit card. It's going to ask you to confirm. This is the billing period that we're using. It's going to do it just for the selected customers. So right now we're just doing these two. And apply credit card. So now Enlite tells me that the batch is in process. Once the batch is completed, Enlite sends me a little success message here, and it tells me that 2 people were requested to be processed and 2 people were successfully processed. Basically, that just means that we didn't have any errors. So now if I come down here to actually the amounts recalculated, and because we have our filter to not show any zeros, you don't see Diane or Bruce Wayne anymore because all their charges have been paid off. And we can see that Bruce Wayne owes us nothing, and now Diane Prince also owes us nothing. So both of the transactions happen at the same time. That's the advantage of having an integrated payment processor. You just select as many customers as you need, and then you hit charge credit card, and it gets done. If you're doing it with a lot of customers, note that the time to process the transactions can take a little bit longer than we saw in my system today. You can always come over here to the log. This is the third tab here. If you come over to the log, you can see the amounts that were charged to each of the customers. So here we see the ones that we did for Harleen Quinzel. That's the check. Here's the cash payment, and over here are our 2 credit card transactions. So you can see that all of them are closed and have a result of success. If you receive an error or if a customer isn't charged, so for example, when we saw that little success message when we were processing the credit cards, it said to requested, to processed. If you get some kind of error, the easiest place to see it is going to be in this log. So in this log, it's going to tell you here, it'll say error, and it'll be in red, and you can come over here and maybe sometimes depending on your credit card processor, down here you'll have an error message of why the charges weren't applied. Here all the charges are applied, and this is just a log of all the invoices that they were applied to. You don't need to worry about this. Sometimes you'll see the reason there. There is one more place I'm going to show you that it's a little bit easier to see them, but here you can quickly see which of your payments failed. Also note that for very large payments, if you're unsure if the system is finished processing them, you can always come to this log, and if it's still processing something, this will say open. And this is different than the result, right? It can say succeeded or error here, but as long as it's open, the system is still trying to do something, so it's not done yet. You're going to want to wait until this is closed. The system does have some built-in protection. So for example, if you try to bill a customer and say for example they have a lot of transactions, you run their card and the system is processing them, but maybe a few minutes pass and you accidentally charge the customer again, because there's an open process, the system will not let you run the second billing charge. You have to wait until the billing charge for that or until the billing process for that customer is closed before you can bill them again, so that you don't accidentally double bill them. Let's head back over to our customer list. And the last thing I want to show you is store credits and overpayments, or credits and overpayments. So if I come over here to, let's look at the Avengers, which is a master account, they only owe us $1. Here, they only owe us $1. So I can come in here and say, let's say I get a check for them. Oh, actually, before I show you that, here, look, they have zero, nope, up here. They have zero available credit, and they only owe us the $1. So I'm going to come over here, and let's say that we get a check from them. We'll say check number 456, and let's say we got a check for them for $101. So they only owe us $1, but they sent us a check for $101. We're going to go ahead and process it. So we're going to do it with today's date, all of the information that we looked at previously. We're going to hit process payment. The batch is going to be concluded. So now the Avengers account doesn't owe us anything anymore, and they have $100 in available credit. Because they paid us 101, they only owed us one, so the system accepted the full amount and left the rest in available credit. So now we know how credit can get into this bucket. This is one of the ways that it can get into this bucket if the customer overpays. Let's see how you apply it. So down here we have our example, Harleen Quinsel. She has a lot of credit available, right? And she still owes us $1,500. Actually, look at my billing dates. My billing dates changed on me here, so I'm going to go back through today. And Harleen still owes us $2,917. But she has these $1,600 in store credit. So to apply that, I'm just going to come back here, click on my little dollar sign. We're going to use store credit, so I don't need to pick a payment method this time. All I do is hit apply. And it's going to ask me how much of the $1,618 I want to apply. The system is going to default to as much as you can take against the balance. So she owes us quite a bit of money. And I'm going to do, let's do $1,418.46 so that we have left over $200 in this available credit amount. So it works the same way as processing regular payments. It's going to tackle the oldest balances first, the oldest invoices first. So I'm going to hit process credit. The payment batch is finished. I see here that now she only has $200 in credit, and all of these balances have been recalculated. So that's how you apply available credit to your customers when you're doing the billing. For customers that have store credit, you can also do it very similar to the way that we charge credit cards. So I have several here that have available credit. If I wanted to apply them in bulk, I could do the same thing. I could just come over here and start checking on my customers that have available credit. Actually, before we do that, let's filter out the zeros. So let's not see anyone that has zero. So over here, I can take all the customers that have available credit, um, like you. She still has some left over that we can apply. So here's an example of three. I can come over here, I can push the store credit button. It's going to ask me the same question, very similar to the when we were doing the integrated payment charge with the credit card. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, apply store credit. We get our same success message. We requested three, we processed three, and now all the balances have recalculated. Now look, Harleen is down here. She doesn't have any store credit anymore, and the balances have recalculated. And the same thing up here with Arthur Curry. Okay, so in this video, it was kind of a long video, but in this video we covered how to apply non-integrated payments, so cash, check, wire transfers, basically the payments that aren't tied to a payment processor using this little blue dollar sign. We talked about integrated payments and how we can batch them together by selecting the customers that have a stored credit card in the system and selecting several of them and using our charge credit card button. We talked about this log, which is very important to see the status of the batches that you have been putting through the system. We talked about the importance of seeing that whether it was a success or an error, and how important it is that the status is closed before we can apply more charges against that customer. And then finally, we talked about how funds can fall into this available credit category by simply overpaying an amount, and how to apply them using the store credit here. This customer doesn't have it, but using the store credit from the little blue dollar sign, like this one. And also how to apply the store credit as a batch using the store credit button after selecting all of our customers that have store credit. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. From everyone here at Dark, thank you so much for your time and your attention, and especially thank you for your business. We'll see you on the next video.